Hi everyone, we're going to find the 6 trigonometric functions, sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotan for our 45 degrees. We're going to find it for 45 degrees, 135 degrees, 225, and 315. And what we're going to do first is change how we write SOHCAHTOA. The first thing we're going to talk about is when you're doing sine. So let's look at 45. This is 45 degrees here. And when you do an opposite, and our radius is 1, or hypotenuse is 1, and every time, let's do this, you do sine for these triangles, when you do opposite, it's always going to be your y. So we're going to rewrite sine as, instead of O for opposite, we're going to write it as y. And instead of H for hypotenuse, we're going to write R. Okay, and then for cosine, we're going to write that, if you know it's adjacent. Well, adjacent is right here. That's your x. So instead of saying adjacent, we're going to say x over r. Then the rest of them, you just switch. This is going to be, your opposite is really your y, your adjacent's really your x. So we just write this as y over x. And then for cosecant of theta, and remember theta is your angle, that's going to be, you just flip these. So that's going to be r over y. Secant is going to be y over r. And cotan is going to be, whoops, what did I do that for? R over x. And you just flip that, and that's going to be x over y. Okay? So we're going to look at the ordered pairs that we've already done on the unit circle. And now we're going to use x, y, and r. So for 45, which is right here, my ordered pair is square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. And my angle is 45 degrees. So if I look at my y is square root of 2 over 2. You divide that by 1 and you just get square root of 2 over 2. Same thing for cosine, it's the same value. And when you divide these two, since they're the same, you get 1. So y over x. Now, on these, and I didn't do enough room, so I'll do it down here. So cosecant of 45, you just flip that. And that's going to be 2 over square root of 2. Same thing for secant. And then for cotan, 1, if you write this 1 over 1 and you flip it, you still get 1. Now we want to rationalize the denominator here. So 2 divided by square root of 2 times the square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2. That's going to be 2 square root of 2 divided by 2, which is just going to be 2. Or square root of 2, sorry. Square root of 2, square root of 2. We're in quadrant 1, so everything's positive. And the rest of them we're going to use the same values. We're just going to change the sign. Because if you notice, they're all the same ordered pair except for the sign, depending on what quadrant you're in. So for 135, which is here, I'm going to, by the way, r is 1, so we can just say y divided by 1, which is r, equals y. So you just pull this out. Your y is square root of 2 over 2. Your x, however, in quadrant 2 is negative. So you put negative. So when you divide these two, you get negative 1. Now we already did the work on the other one, so when you flip this, you're going to get 2 over square root of 2. You rationalize it, you get square root of 2. And this is going to be the same, but it's going to be negative. And this is going to be same, but negative. Well, it's both negative. And the only thing positive in quadrant 2 is sine and cosecant. Let me write it out, cosecant. Everything else is negative. Okay, the next one is the 225. And you draw it up to the x there. And your sine is your y, which is negative square root of 2 divided by 2. Your x is the same. You divide those two, and they're the same. Two negatives make a positive, so that's just going to be 1. So it's going to be 1. And then we already had the value for this, but now they're negative. So in quadrant 3, the only thing that's positive is tangent and cotangent. And the last one we have is the 315, which is here. Okay, draw it up to the x-axis. Make your triangle. There's your values. And we're just going to pull out the y, which is negative square root of 2 divided by 2. Pull out the x, which is square root of 2 over 2. When you divide those two, y over x, you get negative 1. So this one's going to be negative 1. This is going to be positive square root of 2. This is negative square root of 2. So the only thing positive in quadrant 4 was cosine and secant. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.